Men have dangled marriage in front of us like a carrot, since that is the thing that they feel like is the ultimate goal for us. And that is the pressure that society has put on us. It is no longer the truth.
This woman has been engaged 4+ times. If she was so happy, she wouldn't continue to be interviewed and continue to center relationships around the core of her happiness.
Whatever those 4 other relationships that failed, that didn't turn into marriage, it is what it is. It's probably because she had a certain code that the men didn't want to uphold for whatever she see fit.
I don't want us to think that we were put on this earth and everyone was put here to marry someone. No.
Obviously, people want love, they want romance, but am I going to lay down and die because I don't have a man?
I feel like I'm sinking deeper into the bath of, just unapologetic, just appreciation for the life that I'm living and the woman that I'm becoming. And I refuse to let anybody take it from me. I am so content, dare I say happy, that I'm just tickled pink that it had such a visceral reaction for people. A lot of women seem to resonate with the content, and a lot of men seem to have their panties in a bunch.
Yes. Which is what I really loved, because for me, it was mostly positive.
Yeah.
But I think that the centralizing thing was just around the concept of Bething, which we're now going to call kidding because people did not like that.
Yeah.
But this concept of women who have come to a place, the reason why I liked the idea of a royal figure, because it's very clear to understand why a royal person would be reserved about bringing on a partner, because immediately it would diminish their power. So traditionally we think for women, when you get a man, he enhances your social status, he enhances your power, it expands you. But for today's day and age, it's not necessarily as true as it once was. That to be said, this concept for women who are kind of coming into this, and we talked about tacit knowledge versus structured knowledge, this awareness that I bring a lot to the table, I have a lot to offer, I have a very full life, I've worked very hard on myself, and the pool of people who I'm expected to mate with haven't done the same. And I'm told that my value is whether or not I can link up with that person who hasn't worked as hard to be the person that I am today. And them being like, there's something not right about that.
And who's controlling the idea? Who's controlling the idea of that idea of value? Men have dangled marriage in front of us like a carrot, since that is the thing that they feel like is the ultimate goal for us. And that is the pressure that society has put on us. It is no longer the truth. At the end of the day, it all comes down to control. That's what it all comes down to, control over finances, control over status. The thing that I found most funny about all of the men that were kind of in an uproar over what I was saying, when they hear the word decenter men, they hear I can no longer control anything that this woman does, because she's not all of the normal things that she would be looking for: a protector, a provider, a ring on her finger. None of those things impress me or impress upon me, or even feel like I need them. I have proven I can take very good care of myself, and my standards are based on what I have been able to provide for myself. But at the end of the day, I found it really interesting that people seem to feel like I need to justify what makes my life meaningful. I have determined what makes my life meaningful. I have my own system of values. I have my own ethics, my own moral code. I know what I place high on the list and what is not very important to me. And I have constructed my life in a way where I'm content every single day. Every single day. I don't want for anything. And I'm not even talking about material things here. I wake up to unconditional love from my puppies, and they bring me so much joy. Am I saying that there's no difference between my dogs and romantic love? No, they're not the same thing at all. But I will not go searching for romantic love when, by my own lived experiences, I would get further in life drawing a circle on a brick wall and smashing my head in the middle of it.
She seems to be happy, living her life, and the choice that she made seems to be very peaceful. But I want to get you guys' reactions.
I think it's very interesting what she's saying, but it's a lot of truthfulness in it. Why, if you have your own codes, why dumb them down for somebody that's not willing to put in the work? If you go through life dealing with different kind of challenges, some man that is not putting in the same work is just not worth it. And it just shows in today's time, women that have a code, they have a value system, it's more difficult for them to find a man that is willing to meet them at just surface level, just to even get into the room to even start a relationship and date each other. This is why I said that, you know, a lot of men, they got to change their value. So they got to take out lust and degeneracy from the top of their value system and add some honor, some integrity, some education. They need to add some different things in their value system so they could be more dateable in the world. It's just like last week. She's really talking about all the things that we were talking about last week as well. And just because a woman is getting older doesn't mean that she is less valuable in the dating world. That doesn't mean because we're getting older that all of a sudden that we are worthless now. That's just ridiculous in my opinion.
Just because it's your birthday, you're not going to come on here and start talking that nonsense. We're not doing that today, sir. We are not doing that today.
Tell me where I lied.
We're not doing it. No, we're not doing it. First and foremost, this woman has been engaged 4+ times. If she was so happy, she wouldn't continue to be interviewed and continue to center relationships around the core of her happiness. She can talk about all the things that she's developed and built throughout her time on Earth. But I find it very, very interesting that her claim to fame was her being in a bathing suit and her being on the front of magazines. She didn't build an organization. This lady didn't like study at the highest level. So her very claim to fame was her sexuality. And now she's arrived at a point to where relationships no longer serve her. I'd argue that she's just not what she's one of those rare women who just didn't develop in a way to be fit for a relationship. And I'd rather her say that. She's privileged because she's halfway decent looking. So she can do a lot of things that most women can't do. She needs to stop making it seem like this is the new level and the new standard. At the end of the day, when it comes down to relationships, that is always going to work a certain way. It's just what it is. And it doesn't matter how accomplished you are. It doesn't matter how attractive you are. If you get in a relationship with a man, that is always going to funnel a certain way, unless women are going to rewrite the rules and create a different standard. And I hope I'm alive to see it. And I'll land.
Hey, a woman holding her own code. So whatever those 4 other relationships that failed, that didn't turn into marriage, it is what it is. It's probably because she had a certain code that the men didn't want to uphold for whatever she see fit. And so I don't understand why that's an issue. Whatever she did at 18 don't have nothing to do with what she's doing at 49. The way how I was at 18 and the way how I am today is 2 completely different men. And so human beings are allowed to change their position, to get more mature, to understand what's the world moving around them. And when you hold a standard, you have less people to date. That's just a fact.
No, I was going to say, I don't think that she's rejecting love per se. I just think that she's rejected the bad experiences. I think that if the right person for her came along, I think that she would totally change all that. I think she's trying to convince herself, and not only herself and us, that she's happy. I don't think she's happy. God put us here she might be happy with her finances. She might be happy with, other aspects in her life. But overall, God put us here to, what I'm saying, love and be loved. So I think it's just a facade. I think sometimes we put on a facade as if we're in a space that, that's acceptable to us. But internally, I think we fight different demons that force us to be a certain way. So I just think that she's just rejecting her for engagements, like y'all said, and not love, being in love itself.
So we are put here to love romantically, because does love not come in other forms? Because I think all of us love someone. All of us have love in our lives. Yeah. So we're not missing that. We're not devoid of love at all whatsoever. So no, I don't need a partner, a husband, or whatever to have love. I already have that in my circle. I already have that for myself. So yes, someone can be happy and not be in a relationship because that person is not void of love unless that person is void of any personal relationship. And then that's another conversation. But I don't want us to think that we were put on this earth and everyone was put here to marry someone. No, there are a lot of people who live and die and have never been married and have never been in love romantically. That's just what happens. And so you have to find happiness all on your own. And to say that someone has gotten to 49 and they're not happy, what the fuck? That's the journey that we're on. You do not find happiness in someone else. You have that when you enter the relationship. You don't find peace in the person that you are dating or marrying. You have that when you come. And if you do not, you should not be in a relationship at all whatsoever if you are looking for some type of outside happiness, peace, or validation. If you don't already have that, then you shouldn't be dating. And so that completely destroys any argument that we were put on this earth for that. We were not. We were put on this earth to be happy, to experience life, to experience each other. But if that does not end in a marriage or partnership or having kids, because all of that doesn't happen, that does not mean that we die unhappy. That was just crazy.
I don't think she'll die unhappy, but I don't think that just because somebody says they're happy out their mouth don't mean, my point is like that doesn't mean she's internally happy. I said she could also be happy in other aspects of her life. I did say that. But I also said that if she was to find someone who gave her the happiness that she's rejected per se in these 4 engagements, I think she would be open to love again. Because right now she talk as if okay, we get it. You don't need a man. You don't need a woman. Okay, but also God put us here for that reason, to love. I'm not saying love per se in all your ships, like your friendships, your not just marriage wise, but I also do, agree with you. But yeah, I think that once she finds someone, I think she'll speak a different tune. But because she's been in so many different types of ships, I think she's just like, oh, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm all right. But that's just my thoughts.
I think, it's almost like, wanting money, being broke, but still being happy, even with what you got. You're blessed. You feel like I'm blessed. Like, yeah, I would love to be a millionaire, but I'm not. Does it stop me from being happy? Absolutely not. It may never be a millionaire, but it can't run my life. So it's almost like the same thing, right? I think what's your name, baby? Because I can't see. Lord Jesus.
Right, Sharon.
I can't, right here. I agree with her. I think that I don't think that she's saying I don't want a man. I think that she's saying I'm okay with myself. I don't have one. I love myself. I'm okay with myself. It's fine. I'm happy. If I had a man, great. Obviously, people want love, they want romance, but am I going to lay down and die because I don't have a man? I think most women feel that way. Imagine how many single women there are, right? But yet we see them channeling that energy elsewhere, whether they're going trips or they're doing something, they're in school, whatever it is that they're doing, they're giving that attention somewhere else. They're putting that energy somewhere else, right? And they're happy doing it. Again, this does not mean they do not want a man. Absolutely. But does that mean they want any man? They're just willing to take any man off the street to say, I have a man? No, I think they'd rather have those cats that she's talking about. I think they'd rather be alone reading a book than just have any man. Because we know men can come in and mess up your peace. It'd be like, oh, Lord, how did I get here? What is going on? So I just want guys to not, I don't think that when women are in this situation, I just want to just clarify. Most women, every woman besides the ones who want women, wants a man. But if they don't have it, they're not going to lay down and die. They're going to find their happiness elsewhere. They are going to be, and it's going to be a genuine happiness, believe it or not. Okay? So that's it.